HOA cops stormed our shelter. Grandpa tossed their keys in the pig pen. The air was thick with dust and desperation that evening on our small farm, tucked deep in the rolling hills of Karen County. For months, our shelter, a patchwork of plywood and hope, had been a sanctuary for the displaced, those chewed up by the system and spit out with nowhere to go. Grandpa, a stubborn old soul with hands gnarled like oak roots, had turned our land into a haven. He called it the Karen Flower Patch, after the wild blooms that somehow thrived in the cracked earth. To him, those flowers were us, resilient, defiant, beautiful in their grit. Lily, my sister, was the fire to Grandpa's steel. At 25, she'd seen enough of the world's cruelty to fuel a lifetime of fight. She organized the shelter, rallied the families, and stared down anyone who dared call us troublemakers. I was the quiet one, 18 and still finding my voice, but I believed in them both. We weren't just a family, we were a cause. Trouble came knocking when Sheriff Cole rolled up with his deputies, their cruisers kicking up gravel like a storm. The county wanted our land for a new development, fancy condos for folks who'd never set foot in mud. They claimed our shelter was illegal, a public nuisance. Cole, with his pressed uniform and cold eyes, had warned us before, but this time he brought backup. Armed backup. "Clear out or we'll do it for you," Cole barked, his hand on his holster. The families in the shelter, mothers clutching kids, old men with tired eyes huddled behind us. Lily stepped forward, her shovel gripped like a weapon. "This is our home. You want it? Try taking it." Grandpa, leaning on his cane, chuckled darkly. "Son, you're dumber than a sack of hammers if you think we're budging." Then, in a move that still burns in my memory, he snatched the keys from Cole's cruiser, dangling them like a taunt, and tossed them into the pig pen. The sows squealed, churning the mud. Cole's face went red as the deputies scrambled, cursing. The standoff erupted. Cole shouted orders, deputies drew weapons, and Lily raised her shovel, ready to swing. I froze, heart pounding, as voices clashed like thunder. Then, a new figure emerged from the crowd, a wiry man in a tattered jacket, his face half hidden by a beard. Nobody knew him. He'd shown up at the shelter days ago, silent and skittish. Now he spoke, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Sheriff, you don't want this fight. I've seen you before. Back in '08, you helped my ma when the bank took our house. You're better than this." Cole froze, his jaw tight. The stranger's words hung heavy, a twist none of us saw coming. Was he lying? Or did Cole, this iron-fisted enforcer, have a heart buried somewhere? The deputies hesitated, sensing the shift. For a moment, hope flickered, maybe we'd walk away from this. But hope is a cruel thing in Karen County. Cole's eyes hardened. "That was then," he said, and the order came. Tear gas stung the air. Deputies stormed the shelter, dragging people out. Lily fought, screaming, until a baton knocked her down. Grandpa tried to stand his ground, but at his age he crumpled under a shove. I ran to him, shielding him as the world fell apart. The stranger vanished into the fray, his words forgotten. By dawn, the shelter was rubble. The families were gone, scattered or arrested. Grandpa sat in the dirt, staring at the pig pen where the keys still lay, buried in filth. Lily, bruised and silent, clutched a single Karen flower she'd saved from the wreckage. I looked at them, my heroes, and felt something break inside me. We'd fought for justice, for community, but the system didn't care. It never did. The bitterest sting came later, when we learned the truth. The stranger wasn't some drifter with a conscience. He was Cole's brother, estranged and broken, planted in our shelter to spy. His words weren't a plea. They were a distraction, a knife twisted to keep us off balance. Cole had played us all, and we'd paid the price. Now the Karen Flower Patch is just a memory, bulldozed for condos that gleam like gravestones. Grandpa's gone, his heart giving out not long after. Lily's still fighting, but her fire's dimmer now. I'm left wondering if our stand meant anything, or if we were just fools blooming in the dirt. What do you see in this story? Was our fight for the shelter righteous, or were we wrong to defy the law? Share your thoughts on justice and community below.